Hey there everyone, it's Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy with the NautilusDryDocks.com, and we've got another project to share with you. Everybody's favorite boat, Los Angeles. So what we have before you is a Los Angeles class attack submarine, SSN 762, which is USS Columbus. This particular boat is rendered as the improved LA class, and the reason we know it's improved is because we've got this ringed propeller in the back. We have the dihedral stabilizers with the countermeasure launchers, and then the forward dive planes are not in the sail. They're not fair water planes. These are true forward dive planes, and they are retractable. So this is the improved Los Angeles class. Like I said, rendered in 1/96 scale, a really nice, convenient size. I like to call it a one-handed boat, which means you can launch and retrieve it and carry it around with one hand, which is super handy to do. In terms of the drive system, we've got a subdriver. This is an older style subdriver, but this particular unit was brand new when we got it. If we take a look at the front here, we've got a forward servo output for the forward dive planes, a remote on-off switch, a 1500 milliamp hour lithium polymer battery pack. And I just want to make a note here before we go any further. When you store this boat, you absolutely don't want to have this connection done up, which is the connection between the battery and that remote switch. These remote switches are super cool. You use a remote fob to turn the boat on and off, but in order for it to listen for that transmitter, it does draw a tiny bit of power. So it's certainly fine to go from, say, your shop or your house to the pond. It's not going to lose a lot of power that way. But if you leave that connected for several days or like a week, you will critically drain your battery. So you want to make sure that that is not the case, and you make that connection a complete break. This is a gas ballast system, which means that we're going to put Freon inside this copper pressure vessel in there. The ballast servo, which is housed just at this forward part of the aft compartment, there's a little Schrader valve in there, a little tire valve, and that's what blows air, liquid air, into the ballast tank to blow your ballast. The other things that we got going on in here, we got a few upgraded features. We got an automatic pitch controller and a BLM, battery link monitor. And this is the fail-safe system. It monitors two things. It monitors battery voltage and it monitors the communication between the receiver and the transmitter. So if you lose signal, it will automatically blow ballast, bring the boat back up to the surface for you. This is actually a really neat boat. This was part of an estate sale, and for those of you in the hobby, you may recognize a gentleman by the name of Eric Kloss. He was very active in the RC submarine community and in the online forums, and unfortunately Eric passed away this year. I was fortunate enough to get several of the boats that he had collected. This was an unfinished hull when I received it. We did all of the finishing, installation of the cylinder, the test and trim and everything. I'm not sure who built it out initially, but they did a great job. If you take a look at some of the details on this hull, beautiful painting, all of the waterline markers, the boat numbers, stainless steel ballast vents, the cleats, the bollards, absolutely beautiful job in putting all of this together. Now, when we got it, there were a few scuffs in the paint, and so you can see just a little bit of evidence of some of that on there. Maybe you can attribute that to weathering, especially if you're looking at it from a bit of a distance. But what we did add was this water line, this scum line, and that not only helps make it look a little more realistic, but it helped to mask some of those battle scars that this particular boat may have had during its operational career. Access to the hull is pretty slick. Again, whoever put this together did a great job. So all you do is just slide the hull forward and lift up. There's no catches, there's no screws, nothing like that. If you take a look at the back, there's two little holes in there, and at the bottom of them are magnets. And in the back here are more magnets. And so when you drop that hull down, slide it back, there's a very positive snap connection magnetically. So again, no screws, no bolts, nothing like that to worry about. The installation of all the bulkheads and all the linkages is exceptionally clean. A very beautiful job on behalf of the previous builder. And I don't know if I pointed it out before, but he's actually also rendered torpedo tubes in the front of the boat, which is a really neat, cosmetic upgrade. Gives a little bit more visual interest to the boat. We did all the drivetrain, we did all the linkages. When we got it, this was broken in the back due to storage and transport, so we completely redid all of that. And we set this up so everything is moving really nicely, nice and easy. And the prop moves really nice and easy as well. The beauty about this boat, this is one of those KISS boats that I talk about before. It's just super simple. Not a lot of extra features to worry about, like retracting planes and lights and periscopes and all of that stuff. This is just a fun boat. I want to show you how easy that is. We're just going to grab these rubber bands, pull them out to the side here so they don't get in the way. I hope. It's kind of hard to keep them there. All right. We're going to grab our cylinder, line up our drive shaft, get that lined up with the dog bone. There we go. And in the bottom of the ballast tank, you can see this little hole, and that lines up to that brass pin. So we just drop that down, and now this is all aligned, locked down, and it can't move anywhere. Got our rubber bands out. So this hose here is two purposes. One, it has the low frequency antenna for this 72 megahertz radio system. So this is a low frequency boat capable of diving all the way down to the bottom of wherever it is that you're operating. We're going to run this this hose just down the outside of the boat, and then we're going to trap it with the rubber bands in here. Now this putting the rubber bands on is a little bit of a fun operation. Typically what I'll use is a little piece of bent brass rod or something like that, just to make it a little easier. You can do it with your fingers, but it makes it easier when you can just push this down and then loop it, just using that to get it all lined up. So now this is locked down, can't go anywhere. It's in the boat, it can't twist or move forward. All of our linkages connect magnetically. They're all aligned and ready to go there. With that being done, basically we're at the point now where we can test the functions of the boat. So I'm going to extend our antenna, turn on the radio. We have two fobs with this. They're both exactly the same. One is a spare. Turn it on. If you take a look on this side, we've got a full charge indication on the lithium polymer battery. That's a battery charge indicator on the side of the BLM. And we can check the functions of the boat. So we've got our rudder and our dive planes. And one thing that I want you to note here, so the stern planes are on channel 2, which is this forward and back, but at the same time, our forward dive planes are also working. So these are coupled together. Gives you a little bit more response on the pitch axis. Now that 82 is controlling both of them. That's like a Y splitter in there. So the automatic pitch controller controlling the dive planes does a really confident job of keeping this boat straight and level during operation. We can check the throttle out here. That's nice and smooth, really, really nice. And then the last thing is the ballast system. So if I move the left stick to the left, that will initiate the vent. This valve will open up. You can see it opening there. All the air comes out, the boat dives. If I go the other way, that ballast servo will depress that little Schrader valve, and if you listen, you'll hear that hiss of the gas. So there you go. That is the gas ballast system. To charge this up, you know what? Let me show you how to charge it. So what you need to get for this particular boat, for a gas ballast system boat, we're going to be using Freon, 134A Freon. You can get this almost anywhere. It's readily available. A little while ago, we would use airbrush propellant. Propel is a brand name that's typically used for that. That is getting harder and harder to find, and when you can find it, it's exceptionally expensive. This works just as well. So, but it makes it a little bit more tricky to use. So we're going to depress that, and we're going to open up this valve. So now all that liquid propellant is trying to be forced into that pressure vessel, but it can't really go in there because there's air in there already. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep that depressed, and then I'm going to blow the ballast tank. And you're going to listen, you'll actually be able to hear that fluid flowing in, and eventually the liquid will come spraying out there. So I want to give about 3 or 4 burps. And when you do that, it ensures that that pressure vessel is holding the maximum amount of liquid propellant possible. If you just push it and down, you might get a little bit in there, but most of it's just going to be air. So we want to have the maximum number of blows in there. To completely blow the tank probably takes about 1/10 of what's inside. You'll have about 10 full cycles of this ballast tank. So it's very important when you're operating at the pond to count your blows and make sure that you don't run out of propellant. Now, in that particular case, if it were to happen, it's not the end of the world because we're smart. And the reason that we're smart is because this particular boat is ballasted ever so slightly positively. In a worst case scenario, simply take your hands off the controls, the boat will return to the surface. You can just drive it right back out to shore and refill the propellant. So that is the gas ballast system as a general overview there. Now the neat thing about this, the forward dive planes have a magnetic connector. You can see those right there. And again, all we're going to do, we're just going to put this on, drop it down, push it back. These snapped into place, and now in theory, they're working in conjunction with those stern planes. No connections, no nothing. It just snapped into place, and you're ready for the pond. So how did this thing work at the pond? Well, let's take a look. We shot some video out at our local Creekwood Park. Took this boat out, chased some ducks around with it. A 96 scale is a nice size. I'm more of a big sub guy myself, but this still has enough presence on it. You're not going to lose it in the water like you might some smaller boats. This is not going to win any drag races, but of course the real submarine wouldn't be doing that either. So it is a very realistic performer on and under the water. Pitch control is really, really good, and actually surprisingly, the response to the rudder is quite good as well. Like most modern submarines, this one is going to perform better in the yaw axis when submerged. Because when you're surfaced, that top of that upper rudder is going to be above the surface of the water. You're going to lose some surface area for your rudders. That's going to impart your yaw control. So if you really want to turn, you do want to flood to decks awash or submerged. You'll get some better turning performance out of it. Very, very easy to hold at periscope depth. All in all, just a very docile boat. Very easy to drive and a lot of fun. I'm hoping the new owner enjoys operating it as much as we did, it's going to have a very shallow learning curve. He'll be an expert driving it in no time. Well, there you go, everyone. 196 scale, improved Los Angeles class RC submarine, brought to you by your friends at the Nautilus Dry Docks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot, and you'll be notified of all the cool new videos that we put out on a regular basis. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up anytime. I'd love to hear from you. bob@nautilusdrydocks.com. With that, we're going to let you go. Until next time, it's Bob Martin, the RC sub guy with the NautilusDryDocks.com. We'll catch you next time.